By my estimation, there are 3.6 million games released each week, which doesn't sound right now I say it out loud, but there are a ton of board, card and tabletop games released each month. So it's inevitable that some of them are going to slip through the cracks like some kind of determined eel or greased baboon. But it's also inevitable that some of those games we are going to think deserve a second look. Like some kind of greased baboon. Hi, I'm Matthew Dew from This Game's Broken, and I've been invited by Chaz to discuss 10 games that generated some buzz within the past month, but that we think deserve a bit more discussion than they received. These are our top 10 Underdog games. Chaz has created a mysterious and intricate programmatic formula, which assigns each of these games an underdog score ranging from 1 to 100. While it is true that I don't fully understand Chaz's formula, I've seen it. It's alive, and I think it might be sentient. Possibly evil, but it does start, like so many other lists, at number 10. Setting sail for spot number 10 with an underdog score of 56 is the Ming Voyages, a game inspired by the 7 journeys made by the Chinese treasure fleet in the 1400s. In this 2-player game, one player is the Ming Emperor trying to complete all 7 treasure voyages, which sounds exciting, as well as protecting the Chinese borderlands, while the other player controls 3 barbarian factions, who are also trying to settle on those borderlands. The Ming Voyages is an addition to the Pocket Campaign series of games from Two Tomatoes, which completed a Kickstarter campaign earlier this month, and it's designed to provide a significant depth of strategy despite its size. So if you pine to play something that potentially packs a punch in your pocket, this may be one to pursue. Penguins, puffins, pandas. Fun. Stomping onto the countdown at number 9, also with a score of 56, is the March of Progress, a 2-player micro war game. Another small box 2-player game about conflict. Why does that sound familiar? Because this is the second game included in the aforementioned Pocket Panda Punching... Oh, now I've confused myself. It's another game in the Pocket series from Two Tomatoes, which was featured on Kickstarter alongside its sibling, the Ming Voyages. The March of Progress includes several scenarios that reflect various conflicts in different time periods from the 30 Years' War to World War II. And players will compete to control countries through simultaneous play of action cards in order to generate precious victory points, just like in real life. I remember when my granddad brought home a victory point from Vietnam, though he did steal it from a museum in the 90s. And number 8 on our countdown is DEI, Divide et Impera, which is Latin for please stop talking to me, I don't want to translate this for you. It means divide and rule. DEI, with a score of 58 points in this countdown, is a game of exploration and survival set on an Earth devastated by a new ice age, where each player controls a band of survivors competing for territories and resources in search of raw materials to exchange with the Pure Ones, who are a corporation that dominate this new and terrible world where cities have become icy deserts and the skyline has been reduced to rubble. How many years in the future is this set? 3! That's not good. With a hero, some explorers, a knapsack full of hope and some dubiously labelled jerky, players explore a modular London in search of precious resources, all in the hope of completing missions and earning points. Washing ashore at number 7 with a score of 60 is Perseverance, Castaway Chronicles. If you thought the Bermuda Triangle was bad, then you aren't going to like the Devil's Triangle, especially when you're thrown in face first by an eldritch storm. Described as a Euro-style dice drafting and placement game with a strong feeling of adventure, Perseverance unfolds over a 4-episode saga, telling the tale of a group of survivors in a hostile and dinosaur-filled land, who eventually have to grow into a mighty civilization all of their own. And even though the narrative unfolds through story-driven elements, each episode can be played as a standalone game, and there's no legacy elements. The publisher claims that the whole storyline is infinitely replayable, and each chapter is in fact a fully developed game and not just a scenario, which I have to admit does sound kind of cool. Infiltrating its way onto our list at number 6, scoring 61 points, is Deep State New World Order, a dystopian game of world domination, global conspiracies, and Coca-Cola. The Russian version of Deep State was published last year, and the English version is scheduled for release soon. During the game, players dispatch their network of agents to infiltrate political, financial, and research institutions. They'll make treaties and carry out covert operations and head up history-shaping projects. Players will compete with other subdivision heads, their opponents, with the goal of becoming the world's true puppet master. Now, underneath Denver Airport, there is a nuclear fallout shelter that the elites of the world will travel to in case of a global catastrophe. MK Ultra was proven to be real, and it's not just me thinking this. TVs can see you. All pigeons are holograms. Now that's only important because there's also this evil demon horse. Radishes only came into existence 5 years ago. It's the Mandela effect. Apple computers are reverse engineered technology from a downed alien spaceship. The Berenstein Bears.
Fun.
Not today, Internet. Picking up with number 5 is Endo Genesis, a self-published game with a score of 62. And this episode's example of a classic underdog, like the Mighty Ducks or Japan in the last Rugby World Cup, which was so good. Who remembers? No, me. Just me. Endo Genesis is a competitive arena-style card game in which players are cosmic spirits in an alien infant universe who, seeking more, open up breaches into other realms, setting loose a Pandora's box of chaos, knowledge and wonder across reality, and what I have to imagine are some pretty wicked looking colours. This is a competitive card game during which it's imperative to collect skills from the realm of knowledge to customise your characters with different powers and upgrade them with shards earned by defeating enemies. And there are prisms involved somehow and something to do with a monster from the realm of chaos. Endo Genesis was released in 2019, but a second edition is already in the works for 2021. The second edition of the game features major improvements such as a revamped rule set, an all-new game mode, and I for one hope that there's enough to put this Pandora's box back onto a lot of gaming tables. And then you shouldn't open it, I guess, but that doesn't sound right. You shouldn't... I can work this out. So you put it on the table, but you don't open it. This is tricky. But you'd need to, because it's Pandora's box. Alright, I called a scientist. He says you can open the box but don't look directly into the event horizon. So that problem's solved. Staking its claim at spot number 4 this month is the second edition of Gem Rush, which earned 66 points overall. Here's what you need to know about the dwarves of Gem Rush. Digging is a matter of pride and honour for them. You could say that they get a rush out of it. I mean, you could, but I'd never say that unless I was thoughtlessly reading from a teleprompter, banana candelabra, quack quack cantaloupe. But in Gem Rush, 1 to 6 players delve deep to explore a mystical, magical mine, either by working competitively or cooperatively for the king. Using special skills, players navigate each room's ability through the acquisition and clever use of gem cards. Gem Rush was originally published in 2013, and this new edition features updated graphics, new strategically useful gems, which you could say players will really dig. I mean, you could say that, but no. Fool me once, Chaz. Fool on me. Twice. Charmed. Materialising with 67 points at number 3 is The Shivers, a pop-up book-style board game. This cooperative game features a patent-pending modular pop-up system that sets the stage of a magical and spooky mansion. Players acting as members of the Shivers family explore the mansion while sleuthing mysteries, solving puzzles and doing a little role-playing. The publisher claims that players can be up and playing in less than 5 minutes thanks to the game's simple rules and minimal setup. And while the novelty of a pop-up game has certainly attracted the attention of curious gamers who are shivering in anticipation of the game's Kickstarter campaign coming up this spring, or maybe there's something behind them. If there's a ghost in this footage, Chaz, I'm going to be incredibly annoyed. And then I'm going to burn down this house. Settling in at number 2 with a score of 68 is the Castles of Burgundy, which not only introduced its special 20th anniversary edition, but is also this episode's official underdog, most likely to not be an underdog. Yes, well done, Chaz. What a way to treat a classic cornerstone of modern board gaming with the respect it deserves. Even though the original version of Castles of Burgundy is still beloved by many gamers who treat it with respect, this new version includes a welcome update to the graphic design and 8 expansions, all in one box. And finally, the jury has reached a verdict as Lawyer Up is the number 1 underdog of this month with a score of 71. In Lawyer Up, 2 players take on asymmetrical roles of attorneys facing off against each other in a courtroom case. And please, I can't stress this enough, never represent yourself in court. Ever. One player takes on the role of the prosecution, the other the role of the defence. The game contains multiple cases for players to argue, ranging from murder to racketeering, racket making to musketeering, which is super illegal. As the game proceeds, players get to act out the standard elements of court cases, review evidence, question witnesses, and make their case to try and get the jury on their side. And what started as a little known game from smaller publishers has had a steady increase of interest thanks to positive reviews and the release of new information as the Kickstarter approaches. And we don't need any convincing to root for this game which pits players against each other in their bids to establish law and order. I'm against it. And there's the list of games that we're rooting for this month. You can always check out a bunch of other videos such as On the Radar with Paula Deming or Something to Do with Alliteration with Chaz. Either way, I've been Matthew Jude from This Game's Broken in association with Pair of Dice Paradise. Thank you so much for possibly watching and take care wherever you are.